Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a look at Pastor Skip Heitzig's high-level analysis of the Gospel of John. We're going to explore what makes this account so incredibly different from the others, and, maybe most importantly, uncover the very specific reason its author says he wrote it.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll kick things off with a really old question from a king, see how this book gives a one-of-a-kind answer, and then we'll get into some deep symbolism. After that, we'll look at the book's stated mission and wrap it all up with its lasting impact.
So, to really get why the Gospel of John is such a big deal, this analysis takes us way, way back to a fundamental question asked by King Solomon when he was dedicating his incredible temple. I mean, think about it. Solomon's basically asking, can the creator of the entire universe really be contained inside a building that I made? Heitzig frames this as this huge, profound theological question, one that just sort of hangs in the air for centuries, waiting for a real answer. And then, boom! Centuries later, the Gospel of John opens with this direct, powerful response. According to this text, the answer is a resounding yes. God did come to dwell, to literally pitch his tent, you might say, right here among us.
Okay, so here's a really key part of Heitzig's analysis, how he separates John's Gospel from the other three. His argument is that it's not just another biography of Jesus. No, it's something else entirely.
You see, the first three Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, are often called the synoptics because they see things from a pretty similar viewpoint. Heitzig describes them as being like quick snapshots, a fast-moving film of Jesus' life. But John is different. He's painting a careful, studied portrait, and every brushstroke is designed to show you a very specific theological truth.
And this number right here, this really says it all. Heitzig points out that over 90% of the stuff in the Gospel of John is totally unique. You won't find it in the other three accounts. It's like the author's working from a completely different set of material to paint his picture.
And this uniqueness, it's not just in the stories, it's in the structure itself. The source material points out that while the other Gospels are full of parables, John has zero. None. Instead, he builds his case with 7 very specific miracles, those famous I am statements, and these long, deep theological conversations. So this leads us to what I think is one of the coolest parts of this analysis. Heitzig's idea that all 4 Gospels actually work together to give us one complete symbolic picture. The analysis traces this symbolic thread all the way back to the Old Testament. See, the ancient camp of Israel was set up under 4 main banners, and these same 4 creatures, the lion, the ox, the man, and the eagle, show up again in visions in the book of Ezekiel and then later on in Revelation. And here's where it all clicks together. Heitzig argues that each gospel gives us a distinct portrait that matches up with one of those ancient symbols. So Matthew presents Jesus as the lion, the king. Mark shows him as the ox, the tireless servant. Luke paints him as the perfect man, the Son of Man. And then there's John. John gives us the soaring eagle, the divine Son of God, seen from this high heavenly perspective. So this gets us from how the book was written to why it was written. And what's amazing, as Heitzig points out, is that the Gospel of John doesn't make you guess its purpose. It comes right out and tells you. You want to know the key? It's in this number. The word believe, or some form of it, shows up a whopping 98 times. This one word is the engine driving the whole book. It's the whole point. And right there, near the end of the book, the author just lays it all out. It's his mission statement. According to Heitzig's analysis, that entire studied portrait, every single story, every miracle, every conversation, it was all put together for one single reason, so that you, the reader, might believe.
All right, finally, let's talk about the ending. Heitzig frames the conclusion of the book not as an ending at all, but more like an invitation into a story that's actually still going on.
He presents this last line, which sounds like a crazy exaggeration, right? As maybe not being an exaggeration at all. The idea is that if you actually tried to write down every single story of every life that's been changed by this message, well, the world's libraries couldn't hold all the books. So when you boil it all down, the big takeaway here is that a story's purpose and its structure are completely tangled up together. The Gospel of John isn't just a random list of events, it's a finely tuned argument. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about for any story we encounter. How does the why behind the telling of a story completely change the what of the story itself?